Alright, man, I want to welcome y'all back, man, to FP Boxing. And, man, I was just doing a little researching, man, and digging around on the internet to see that, ESPN actually dropped a top 10 pound for pound list that I was checking out. And, I was just saying, man, that, for them to be, the leading entertainment in sports, man, to see a top 10 pound for pound list be so biased towards American black fighters is kind of ridiculous, man, with the respect of some of these black fighters who really not receiving the credit they deserve for, actually competing. I mean, a pound for pound list is kind of objective and kind of something that is of personal preference to the point to where I see a lot of channels and people who make pound for pound lists, and it's more of a fanboyish type of pound for pound list that most people make. But when I see sports networks and other people that have a platform for others being on cable television who actually have the power to reach out to the casual fans or to most people who don't really recognize you know hardcore type of boxing fans that actually know a lot of fighters, and they on the platform to introduce a lot of unknown or not mainstream type of fighters to the public, and to kind of portray some of these guys on this top 10 pound for pound list that they made. And I think it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, I'm just gonna say that ESPN, right? The boxing team that they got for others, they panel, they going by like some kind of point system that they use. With the first place votes receive 10, second place 9, and the ties go to the fighter with the highest submitted ranking. Is how they got their pound for pound list. They going by, how many of their team fathers, the panelists, voting on certain fighters to actually be on the ESPN top 10 pound for pound list. Which y'all looking at the video, I'm actually gonna, put, the votes of the panel inside of the video to show you, kind of how they voted. I can't believe, Teddy Atlas, actually had, Vasil Lomachenko ranked number one. Like most of them do. It's like it's really fucking kind of crazy. But this is the main top 10 pound for pound. At number one, they got Gennady Golovkin. Number two, Andre Ward. Number three, Vasil Lomachenko. They got Sergey Kovalev at 4. They got Roman Gonzalez at 5. Terrence Crawford at 6. Canelo Alvarez at 7. Manny Pacquiao at 8. Keith Thurman at 9. And Guillermo Rigo at 10. And this like is really kind of ridiculous, man. To have somebody like Vasil Lomachenko, you got him ranked number 3. The man is 8-1 with 6 KOs. His last fight, I know y'all seen, he dominated, got the technical stoppage against Jason Sosa back on, the ninth. I mean the in April, like the 8th, I think, in April. But you get Roman Gonzalez on this list, who lost to a nobody in a 12-round decision. However, they feel like he pulled it off or whatever. The man took a loss, against a nobody. He didn't lose to another pound for pound fighter. He lost to a nobody. You got Manny Pacquiao on the list. You ranking him on a list to where it's been a while since he done, looking like the same old Pacquiao. He lost to Floyd Mayweather, and now he taking a nobody type of fight against a damn Jeff Horn. Nobody in the world ever heard of up until this point. But some of the guys that I feel like they should be off this list, and I kind of replaced them, giving me a top 10 and give me a little wiggle room to kind of, reorganize certain fighters and kind of do my own thing with it. But if I had to replace some of the fighters on their top 10 list, Vasil Lomachenko would be off. Chocolatito would be off. Canelo would be off. And Manny Pacquiao would be off. So by that being said, I mean a pound for pound fighter should be able to move up and down in weight. He should be able to dominate at least a weight class below or above. I prefer a fighter to move above if you gonna consider yourself pound for pound to take on the challenge of another champion that's above your weight class. I mean, if you able to move up and down with a dominant fighter below your weight, and then I could see that happening. But I prefer a pound for pound, guy on this list to actually have belts to be a champion who's not afraid to take on a challenge, meaning that they not in a position to where they won't kind of decide to say, I'm not going to be one of these fighters who I'm just not going to go above and try to challenge myself to another fight. But my top 10 pound for pound list, which I went with, was Andre Ward, hands down number one. I mean, is undefeated with 31-0. He got 3 belts, the WBA, IBF, and WBO. So hands down, Andre Ward's resume is topping anybody really in his top 10, I think, besides Sergey Kovalev. And that right there is supposed to what solidify Andre Ward as being pound for pound number one, taking on Kovalev. And he's doing it again because of a controversial win, which I thought he won hands down, but he taking on this man again. So in number 2, I got Terrence Crawford, who's actually took on, winning his WBO belt after holding the WBC belt down and actually taking on a unification fight with Victor Postal. And after his dominating performance against Felix Diaz, who made him look like he just started boxing. This is what a pound for pound fighter should look like. And then number 3, I got Keith Thurman. I mean, Keith Thurman done took on, some tremendous challenges. He's an undefeated fighter with 2 belts and took on a unification fight with Danny Garcia. So I guess to put him at number 3, I got number 4, Sergey Kovalev. And, I mean, his resume speaks for itself. I mean, whether, some people, kind of feel like with the loss, and he lost to a top 5 pound for pound fighter in Andre Ward, so he still deserves to be in the top 5 spot, according to what I'm putting together. And then at number 5, I got Triple G. And, Triple G, 37-0. I mean, his actually real challenge with Daniel Jacobs, I felt like he lost, but he got the W. I got to respect it. He got 3 belts. I mean, he's a WBC champ, WBA, and IBL. So I have to respect, this man holding these belts down. And at number 6, I got Rigo. Actually with 1 belt with the WBA belt, and 17-0. Next fight coming up in June, so look out for that. And he's the real monster in boxing with people actually ducking him. So with number 7 and 8, I had to go with heavyweight champions. I gotta go with number 7 with Anthony Joshua. Whether people want to respect it or not, he's an undefeated fighter, got 2 belts, WBA and IBF. I went with Deontay Wilder, undefeated fighter, and actually got plenty of knockouts just like Anthony Joshua, but I ranked him over Deontay Wilder because of the belts that, Anthony Joshua holding right now. And, Deontay Wilder with the WBC strap. And at number 9, I went with Earl Spence Jr., who took maybe one of the top welterweights out there and went to his home country to win the IBF belt. I gotta respect it. And at number 10, I'm rolling with Michael Garcia, who actually holding down a belt and actually taking on the challenge by moving up, and Adrian Broner. So I'm taking him at number 10.